what we were going to do yesterday because I did a live, and by the time I got done with that live, I was not up to doing another video to let you know what we were going to be having. So, because some people were being quite nasty on the live, though you didn't see what was happening. I didn't know if you would, but anyway. I'm going to give you some things that we're going to be doing next week. I haven't finished up this week yet, but I'm giving you a head start. We're going to take and we're going to do onion stuffed with ground meat and pine nuts. Something I've never done, but it'll be interesting. It's got, we can use pork or beef on this one. It's going to have bulgur in it. It's going to have red wine in it, red pepper flakes, cheese, pine nuts. And we're going to make a sauce that goes over it that's got red wine and beef in it and ripe tomatoes. So this is going to be very interesting. It seems everybody's busy, but that's okay. You can see it later. All right. Now, I did tell you I bought elk and I bought venison. I hadn't had wild game in a long time, so I brought it to your attention. What we're going to be making is an elk pot. Now, this has, they use whole bulbs of garlic. It's going to have ginger in it. It's going to have red pepper flakes in it. It's going to have anise in it and soy sauce that goes with this elk that we're going to be having. Plus, we're going to serve it with spinach. So this is all new that we're going to be doing. And we'll probably have to make some, they want some flat noodles with it. So we'll be making pasta. Or I might use egg noodles. I haven't quite decided on it. Well, anyway, when I eat pasta, I use eggs. I also have wild boar bacon, and I want to try either pancakes or waffles with the bacon and see how that flavor comes out, which will be interesting. Is something that I'm looking at as well. And I'm very hesitant about doing the filleting of the red snappers, fried fish, so we're still working on that as well. Now, I am going to be making a Greek stew known as stafado. It uses a boneless beef chuck, which is very interesting. And it has pearl onions in it and cumin, an allspice, white wine in it, cinnamon sticks, and bay leaves. So these are really not going to be what we're going to be seeing. Hi. And that's what I want to make. So I thought those would be interesting. And right now I'm trying a new coffee. Now, I told you I can't take caffeine. I'm allergic to caffeine, which will kill me. So I found Teeccino, Teeccino. They call these instant herbal Athena and Patty High. They call this herbal coffee. I have a dandelion blend. Now, what I like about it, which I love about it, Think High, it is gluten-free. Here's my favorite one, caffeine-free. It's prebiotic and it's organic. So I'm trying this right now. I don't know how it's going to go. It looks like coffee. It doesn't have the bitterness as strong as normal coffee. Scuddly, Mugly Bugly, yes. Hey, I see you. So I'm going to be trying this. I checked it for saturated fats, sodium, cholesterol, total protein, this calcium. I went through the whole list. 0. But most of all, I love about it is it's gluten-free and it's caffeine. Gluten-free, I don't have a problem with, but that caffeine is what gets to me. So it's prebiotic. 500 milligrams of an inulin, a prebiotic soluble fiber from over 1,700 milligrams of chicory extract and dandelion roots. Now the history about, thank you very much. Now the history is that when the frontiersmen went west, we're talking about America now, they couldn't always get coffee. All right, remember when we were first becoming a coffee, we were the tea. That's why we had the tea party, because the English like tea, and we were doing it. I am doing much better today. I was very stressed with just the way everybody was carrying on. Hi, Bart. Was carrying on yesterday, and it was very, let's say, draining on me in that aspect. But they use dandelion root for coffee. They would dig it up. They would eat the dandelion. The leaves could be the flowers you can eat, the leaves you could put into a salad, and the roots they ground after they dried them, and that was their coffee till coffee came through. I said, "Hi, Bart." So, Bert, so that's the history. So this is where they got the idea from. I knew about dandelion root, and I had thought about growing it myself in the yard and digging those roots up because you can dig them up, they always come back. Thank you very much. And this also has organic dates in it, so that's why I'm trying this. And it seems to work. So this is it right here. I'm finishing it up. And you only use a teaspoon of it, but it's more expensive than coffee. But if you know somebody who has a caffeine problem or high blood pressure and you want to wean them off, you could try this. It's not completely tasting like coffee. It doesn't really have that bitter taste at the end of it, but it does have it, the way the mixture they put it together, which is really nice. And that's why I'm trying it. And I'm not disappointed. So, because my sons have been saying, "Mommy, I wish you could have coffee with us. Sometimes we just like to sit down and have coffee." I said, "I can't have coffee. It's got caffeine in it." And they said, "You want decaf it?" I said, "No, because decaf, I cannot guarantee that they steam the caffeine out. What they do is the stuff they use at the dry cleaners to clean your clothes is how they make decaffeinated coffee. But the more expensive one, you would have to get steamed and make sure that they steam it." So I said I couldn't take that chance, so I didn't do that. And when I used mushroom coffee, they said, "Oh, yeah, but when we're done dehydrating and stuff, we spray it with coffee." And I said, "I'm still getting caffeine. I can't take it." So I had to cut that out. And then I found this one. So I'm trying this one, and it looks like it's going to be one that I can sit and have coffee with my children. No, you cannot. The gaming, Willis, you cannot have my cabinet. I have so much stuff stored in this down at the bottom. No, you can't. It's mine. I can drink that and it won't kill me. So anyway, so we're going to be having an elk pot. They said that, thank you. I love chicken and dumplings. My grandmother used to make that for me. I do not have a recipe for it. I know that the dumplings had to be rolled out. She used a lot of pepper in them, and she used to boil the chicken after she cut it up, but I do not know how to make it. I can't drink any coffee. I have to find substitutes. I did not know it, but I have an allergy against caffeine. The doctor found out. Oh, they're delicious. We've only got five left. Hi, Lily. Uh, what was I going to say? Yeah, the dumplings have to be thick. I remember, but a lot of peppers, but I don't have the recipe. I really don't. So I haven't had it in a long time. Admit who I do. You are seeing the shorts. The shorts are my end products because a lot of people want to see the end product before they get the recipe. So now remember, I am not computer savvy. All right. In other words, computers and I do not go along. Give me books. I'm real good at that. What I did was I make shorts to give you the end product. All what you have to do is see the title of the short and then go into the videos and look for the same title because the videos are actually the recipes and me putting them together and talking and having fun. Yes, I've had a lot of pets. We only got got 5 pieces left, and I cut 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And we've only got 5 pieces left. And when I woke up this morning, because one of my sons comes in at 2:30 in the morning because he works the evening shift, he took a big section like that. He said, "Mommy, that is so good." And I said, "I know, they're very good." I don't know what cubes. What are those? Rubik cubes. It is. It's delicious. And my girlfriend said, "Sandy, I made an apple brownie." I said, "Chocolate?" Because I have the chocolate apple brownie. She said, "Oh, no, this is a blondie." I said, "What'd you put in it, young lady?" She said, "You'll have to come and see." So I'll have to get to Maine to see that. Thank you, Water Gaze. I thought you guys could see what was coming up as you talked to me, putting questions out. I thought everybody who's watching this could sit there and see. And my son said, "No, Mommy, they can't see." I said, "What do you mean they can't see? If I'm seeing, they can see." He said, "No, they can't see." So I was surprised. So you didn't know what was going on. I was being confronted with some very negative things that aren't proper, and I wasn't happy about it, and it drains me. To make wheat brownies, please. You won't get high off of it because you have to add a high heat. What you do is you take a regular brownie recipe and you put in a half a cup of wheat, and that's it. That's the whole recipe. My the people that I said that I had cut all strings with when I tried marijuana, she said, "You got to try this recipe." I said, "Why do you want me to try?" She said, "Because I can't bake. I'll get everything. Just make it for me." So I just added a half a cup of wheat to it. That was it. So if you have a brownie recipe, just add a half a cup of wheat to it. If it's a little too thick or dry, just add a little bit of extra milk. Moisten it up. Well, I ain't that smart. Not with cubes. It was they were making fun of my dead husband. And I told him something very bad that frightened me because they were talking, well, I like weed and this and that. And I said, I don't. They said, you don't drink either? I said, I'll cook with liquor, but I don't drink it. Though I do like a little sherry with coffee. And it's usually a tiny little glass that I have. But they made fun of him and then started making fun of me and my age, which I'm very proud to be 72. Yes. Yeah, somebody told me that they were trolls, and I was trying to be respectful and everything. If he's watching over me, he stays very busy. But I said that something that happened very bad. I tried weed, okay? I was a stupid teenager and I tried it. They say we're supposed to live up to 120. Thank you, all of you, for the loss of my husband. And I told them what happened, and they made fun and they said, "Oh, you just got a bad thing, like it was spiked or something." And I said, "No, it wasn't, because what I saw, they saw, except they didn't see exactly what I saw. I first told you what they saw, and then I told you what I saw." So that's what I went through yesterday, and it was very depressing. So I went to bed and I was crying. I said, I miss my husband. You should. If you've had cancer, God bless. If you've made it through it, you know, I know a lot of people that haven't, but if you made it through cancer, God bless you. Be careful and take care of your health because it's what you've got. VIP, how old are you? Very good. Yeah. Very, very good. Oh my goodness. I'm glad. Wishing you wishing you the very best. And just keep on going. Don't stop. That's how I look at it. You just keep on living your life. Don't let anybody put you down. You just keep on going. Oh, yes, my mother taught me how to gamble. My mother liked to gamble. Very bad thing she should do. What she did was she said, Sandy, come here. And I said, what? I don't remember this game. I do feel better. I just cried out my sorrows and woke up in a better frame. And she said, come into the living room. I said, okay. She sat me down and she got 2 decks of cards. So I don't, if any of you know this game, I haven't played it in years. No, this was a game. She said it was a quarter-cent a point. So I had to get 4 points to get 1 penny. Now, my allowance at that time was 50 cents a week if I did my chores. By the end of the week, I had made $2.50. So you know I'm a good player. But she took 2 decks of cards. And what she did was shuffle them. We got so many. And we'd pick up a card and you could lay it down or keep it. You know, and you kept on doing this. But as you got a set of 3, a run, I think is what you call it, or 3 of a kind, you had to lay it down where the other side could see. Now, if you saw a card on top that you wanted, you took the whole set of cards there and you played them. And then if you got 3, you laid them down. And that's how we did it. So if you saw a card that you wanted, you had to take the whole deck from that area. And then you'd start again. I cannot remember the name of that game, but it was like I said, a quarter-cent a point, and I came out with $1.50 to $2.50 every week. My mother was not a good player, but I was. I don't know the name of the game, but I wished somebody I knew would play the game because I enjoy playing the game. I love cards. My mother was a gambler. What's it called, the game? I don't know, but I think you have to get runs and 3 of a kinds. And if you get 4 of a kind, it's like an extra point or something that you get. But nobody around here knows how to play this game. And I really wished I knew the name of the game, and I wished I had somebody to play the game with me because I could spend hours playing it. But every time I won, I did my winning dance. Just like I like playing Monopoly. And my sons played Monopoly with me, and I would win all the time. And they said, Mommy, you are wicked. And oh, you're fairly sure? Okay, it's called Rummy. Okay. And what happened is he had a friend. They were little then, and they went to go play Monopoly, and he was beating my 2 sons at the game. So he said, Mommy, I can't win. I looked at my son's cards and I said, oh, you could win. He said, no, I can't. I'm not doing it. He said, my mother's going to take my place. I whipped that guy's tail, man. I beat him all over Monopoly. I left him nothing. And then when I won, I did my winning dance. Yay! And I was dancing and yelling, and his parents were watching all this, and they started laughing. They said we called him Mr. Trump. But it seems that Mrs. Trump, which became my nickname, is I could beat the pants off of him. I'm jealous of the people that have never come across your stream. Okay. You're just like, it's no skill. Yeah, I did a victory dance. Anytime I win and I've got a running streak, I'll sit there and dance. My husband said, Sandy, you like to gamble. I said, I know. I have to give me $5. That's all I can bet, you know, and that's how it is. And he said, when I retire and the children are in college, you and I are going to travel, and I am going to take you to gambling places so you can gamble, but you're not going to gamble everything we have. I'm only going to give you so much money. I said, okay, make sure it's money we can afford to lose. I'll be right back. I need a glass of water. So I anticipated that I was going to go gambling in my late age. And I said, just give me $10 or something that we can afford to lose. Yeah, we always keep it low like that. And he died. I said, that's great. You promised. He died. We never got to do it. So, but anyway, I've got a deal with my son. He said something's not going to happen. I said, yes, it is. He said, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. I said, don't bet with me. He said, I bet you $100. I said, you sure you want to bet $100 against me? He said, I'm right, you're wrong. I said, no, deal on. We're waiting for it to happen. I'm going to get a free $100 bill. Oh, so we have a deal, a bet going on now. It should, I think, by January come out by then, sometime before the end of the year. We should have the answer. I'm going to beat him. Okay. Oh, there's only 2 of you left. Okay. So who's on? Top fans. Well, I don't have. They have the bus tours. You go in a big group. Oh, that's all right. It's in the family, you know. It's all in the family. Anyway, it'll all be shopping money, which means food comes back into the house. That's all. But anyway, it's fun. I don't like spending. I don't like people who go and they say I've got a winning streak and they keep going and going and going and going. Like my son said, Mommy, why don't you play New York Lotto? And I said, okay. So I said, look, I will give you $8 because there's 2 games a week. So 2, 4, 6, 8, that covers the month. I'll give you $8 and I'll play. Now, this really happened to me. Now, the numbers came up on the lotto. If one number was 23, I picked 22. Isn't it numbers? But I'm right next to every winning number. And I came close. Oh, but that was something. It was like $8. Like I said, if I do something like that, it's very minor. I wouldn't go in any real extreme condition or spend a lot of money there. Like if they have a quarter machine, I'll just throw a quarter in and say, Father, if I'm going to win, I'm going to win. You know, it's a quarter and that's it. And I don't. It's just fun. But I'm not addicted to it or anything. But my mother got me started. Tea shelf. My tea set is over the refrigerator. This is my bone china and the liquor lead crystal glasses. So this is my china closet right here. But my tea set with cookies or little finger sandwiches is over the refrigerator. Rose Rothen? Is that how you pronounce your name? Rothen? Ready? Roth. We're not going political. Not going to say. Somebody just asked me, did I vote Trump last time? Uh, I have parents, had parents, they're both dead now. I could not tell you if one was a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat. I have no way of knowing. I was raised that what goes on in the voting booth and me stays between the voting booth and me. So we can talk about politics, we can talk about certain things, but what party I belong to is nobody's business but that voting booth and me. Did I come close to your name? Rothith? Rohith? Rohith? Okay, Reem. But so no politics. This is a cooking channel. I do sit and chat after I tell you some of the things that I'm going to be making. Okay. Rohith. Rohith. It. If. It. Rith. I'm going through words that I can relate to. Rohith. Ah! I feel good about that, Rohith. I got your name right. Originally, I am from Connecticut, but I was raised in Texas. And I'm in New York right now. India? Rohith, is it India? I could be very wrong. Oh, I'm making a Greek meal. Somebody asked, did I ever make Greek meals? No, Turkish. This is a Turkish meal I'm making. Sorry. I got it right? Okay. I have a friend, Vamil, there. He's been one of my first Facebook friends that I've had. The first came out on it. I'm so proud of myself. I got your state and your name, your country and your name right. Rahith. That's what does it mean in your language? Water is in my glass. Nice to meet you, Reem. So, no, that's water. I tried this coffee blend. I do like it. I might order more. Syria. Isn't it morning over there for you, Reem? From Syria? Syria go around. Let's see. I'm here. I know we go there. We hit Hawaii. And we go over to Europe. Shoot, you should be early morning. I think. Syria should be early morning? Yeah, maybe it is. I'm not sure. I'm going in my head trying to go around the earth. Thinking where you're at. I know where you're at. Africa going over. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Somebody had done it. Kentucky Fried Chicken, from what I can gather, they seem to pressure cook the chicken. Then they put it in a dough. And when they say what? It has 12 seasonings or something. If you put a pinch of seasoning in, they say you have to write it out. So if he puts a pinch of 12 different seasonings in there, you don't have any flavor except salt and pepper. But it seems that from what I can gather, watching it, he either steams that chicken before he fries it, or they pressure cook it before they fry it. and then they put it in a hot oil with flour, almost a batter, I think, and that's how it comes out the way it does. Oh, PM. Oh, you're almost 12 hours. Wait a minute. What time is it for me here? 3. And it's midnight? No, it's 3 here. 3 a.m. 3 p.m. Oh yeah, you're not many hours behind me. Let's see, that's 3, that's 12:15. Yeah, you're a good time behind me. I don't eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. You don't have to worry. I don't like it, but that's how they do it. I saw something, the guy said they don't put as many seasonings as I do in it. Uh, Gold jewelry or silver? I'm allergic to metals. I can only handle gold, silver, and uh, what is it called? Surgical steel. That's the only kind of metal I can put against my body. Any other combination of metals makes my skin break out. But don't have to worry, Kentucky Fried Chicken, I don't like it. But I did see somebody was trying to make it like that. Gold. It has a little diamond right in the center. It's a butterfly, actually. I have an Indian feather one, and I have two hearts interlocking. Okay, we've been at this for a bit, but I did want you to hear what I was going to be making because my son confronted me. What are we having tomorrow? Thank you. The top glasses, the lead crystal you like, these? Or these up here? 1, 2, or are you talking about the bottom ones that you like? Nash, na, Nashin? Which shelf do you like? 1, 2, or 3? Oh, you like them all? Oh, I'm just going to ignore you, Fluff. The top, those are lead crystal, champagne, hard liquor. Oh, what's the other one over there? Yeah, that's at the top. Here you have the water glasses, the sherry, wine glasses, beer glasses. Why do I have them? Because my husband bought them and he was introducing, if you're going to have male children, they're going to go out there and try things like drinking and smoking and all. And they're going to try it. So it's best that you allow them to try. I had to learn this the hard way. Their uncle informed me, Sandy, they're boys, they're going to do this. But they're children, he said. You let them just get a taste and quiet down. I said, okay. Anyway, Tony bought all of those liquor glasses. So he was teaching our sons how you have beer, how you have hard drinks, how you act, and everything else. And that was the object of those glasses, was to educate our sons on drinking and how to do it properly. What kind of personal information would you like? Rohith? Rahith? I am widowed. Oh God. Well, they're in a controlled environment, like if you're having a meal, that would be nice if you want to introduce your daughter to wine, or you could introduce her to a drink that I have is sherry. Now, a glass for a sherry for your daughter is this size. And I'll show you a wine. That's the water glass. Okay. Okay, for your daughter who's 14, this is a wine glass, okay? You've got a good cup and a half of liquor in here. A sherry is less than half a glass because you only fill this half full. A sherry is a little extra sweet wine that she could have after the meal. If you're having coffee or tea, you could sit there and pour her that and then show her that this is how young ladies are supposed to have their liquor. Okay? And she's not supposed to have 2 or 3 of them, but it's just a little sherry, just a little something. And then that way she doesn't get, because she's 14. And if she's drinking, she could be coming home and said, Daddy, I'm pregnant. And that's not what anybody wants to hear, their little girl. But when she gets like that and she's drinking, her inhibitions, she has no control. She could be swayed into doing something she doesn't want, and then her name's ruined. So you have to be very careful. I don't want her to drink until 18 when I said that my daughter responded. Your daughter is not disciplined. For her to say that back to you, if I said that to my mother, I wouldn't have a head on my shoulders today. Raising children is not easy, but she is a minor. She has no rights until she becomes an adult. So you have to sit there. So if you want a controlled environment, but give her freedom, and that a little bit of sherry, you could give that to her, but don't give her a wine glass. But a sherry is after she has the food, and so it's breaking down into her system. So when she takes the sherry, she really doesn't get the effect of it, but it makes her feel that she's up there. But if I had said that before I was 21, I wouldn't have a mouth or a head on my shoulders. My mother, what she wouldn't do to me. When she becomes 21 and she takes the if she takes the responsibility as an adult at 21, and if you have voting in your country and she learns that her actions, there's a repercussion for her actions, and that her freedom goes as far as here. But she drinks, she's opening her door. She's opening up the door for her to get pregnant, to be hurt, if not raped. So you have to control. It's not easy. I was pulling my hair out. My husband had to talk. He said, look, they're going to do it. You have to put it in a controlled environment at home where they learn the proper do's and don'ts. If you say no liquor, then she's going to rebel the first chance she gets. I mean, everyone in my brother, older, younger, father, mother, smoked. My mother was a chain smoker. You couldn't find a picture without her with a cigarette. One day she said, Sandy, go get my cigarettes. And it was lit. And I said, James, everybody's smoking around me. I want to try it. And I was young and I tried. I took one puff and I liked it. And I said, I'm not going to do this. And I took it to her. But the thing is that she knew I had tried it. She said, did you try it? And I said, yes, Mommy. She said, are you going to do it? No, I don't want it. And so that's, so I learned. So Tony taught me that in the fact that because of society and the drugs and stuff, you have to control your children, but you've got to give them that freedom and let them feel that freedom, but you're still very much in control. Like I said, children have to be punished from little because at first they come out, no boundaries. But as they get older, curiosity, Mommy won't know, Daddy won't know. Oh, you've got to let them know as they grow. You spread out their responsibilities, but if they step past that responsibility, the belt comes out and the punishment comes down on them. And as they learn this, they grow straight and they learn where their freedoms are and where their freedoms aren't. This is where I was taught. My freedom goes as far as my nose. I have to be respectful of everybody. And I was raised like this. But I told my mother one time, I'm not going to babysit that house over there. I mean, they got the air conditioner on, so cold, man, you have to wear winter clothes. My mother, boy, the woman told my mother what I said. My mother whipped me, then stood over me, made me go back to the house, apologize, and say I wanted to babysit. And it was a free babysit because I couldn't get paid for it because of my mouth. So you have to, learn that there are things you do and things you don't do. You have to be. How do you limit as they grow older? When they're little, you start off giving them boundaries. And as they grow and you see them taking the responsibilities of it, you give them more responsibilities spread out. But when it comes to drinking and stuff like that, you have to sooner or later, they're going to try it. It's just like little boys when they get the itch down there and they're dating, you know what they want just to see, but they don't expect to make babies. It's the same thing. They've got to contain it, know there's a time and a place, and everything else. So if you teach your daughter a little sherry after her meal and she's sitting there talking with you and you're not upset and Mommy and Daddy are there and they can see that she's having a little bit and maybe you might want a little wine or something, then they could sit there and she will be nervous at first. She'll probably laugh, get a little really nervous, and she'll giggle and do all sorts of stupid things. And you say, it's all right. I want you to know how to do this properly and educate her. Now, I know that sometimes when I go to places, they offer me liquor and I turn it down, but I will ask for a little bit of sherry and coffee if I have to. Other than that, I'll say just a glass of water, please. But once you tell her and show her how to do it properly, and that too much, it opens the door for other problems and people abusing her. You have to be careful. You keep your wits about her and let her grow. But, do it in that time frame that you have as a parent, that you are watching over her, but she has that security to know that she can do this little bit and Daddy's not upset with it. Daddy will be there for me. That's very important. If it's a mother, then my mother will be there to protect. They need to know you're going to be there because they're going to make mistakes. Believe you me, we all make mistakes growing up. Don't hold it against her. Teach them that they can sit there and they learn from their mistakes. But remember, every decision that she makes, and this you have to instill very young, is every decision you make, remember, there's always going to be a repercussion. Be it good, bad, or indifferent. So weigh it out before you do. I wouldn't even vote till I was 30 because I I didn't feel I was mature enough to go and vote to help my country because I was unsure. But at 30, I started that I did know what I wanted more for my country, balancing it out. And then I went and voted. And people said, you can vote from the time you're 18. I said, I was not mature enough. I didn't think I was in a position to do it, though I can go and just vote and mark anything down. But I wanted to make sure that the decisions that I make are what I feel my country and in the direction my country should go. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. She could come home and try to hide a pregnancy, and if you're going and if you want her to have an abortion, that's going to cost you a pretty penny, and then it's death because it'd be killing the fetus. So you see, it's very hard, and those hormones kick in. And girls in America, they seem to kick off at 12. So but by the time, but do it in that aspect. And if she's having hormonal problems, you have to remember the first man that she ever loves is her father, because he's the one who protects her and everything. And according to how he treats her is the kind of man that she's going to have. So be very, very careful because your position is extremely important. But do, like I said, guide her because she's at the points where a lot of things can go wrong and you have to be strong for her and be honest. I mean, don't be uncomfortable. My mother was, she wasn't uncomfortable about teaching me about sex. And when she used the word climax, I said, what is that? And she tried to explain it. And she said, I'm going to put it this way to you, Sandy. But my mother wasn't afraid. A lot of parents are afraid to talk about these things. My mother was not. And my father was very uncomfortable. But my mother talked to them. She brought the Playboy magazine in for them to see because she knew the hormones were kicking in. So this is where I learned to contain them, but allow that growth. And my husband was like that as well. So this is how we did this. There's no embarrassing. You're embarrassed to talk about it. That's the problem. A lot of parents don't talk to their children about these things, and these children have to know. So you leave it to the Board of Ed, or nobody talks about it, and then she thinks that she can't get pregnant until she's married, and she's having fun, and next thing she knows, she's having a baby. She doesn't understand why. You have to talk. You really have to talk to them. Don't be afraid of it. It's a very human thing. If you want to use I mean, look, here's what my son did. My firstborn, little guy, right? Couldn't be more than 8 years old. We were in the park and he said, Mommy, the birds are mating. I said, yes, they're mating. They're making babies. So there'll always be birds around. Well, we went into this store. I was picking up some things that I needed with my husband. And no, it was a grocery store. God, we were in my mistake. It was the grocery store. And he came up to me because my husband prepared me. He said, once we have children, Sandy, wherever you're at, you're going to get caught and you're going to have to answer questions because children have questions. And you can't get embarrassed because if you get embarrassed, they get embarrassed and then they know it's a no-no. So if you're going to do it, you do it behind your parents' back and everybody's back. So you have to sit there and be honest with them. And he came up and he said, Mommy, he went and pulled it off the shelf, walked up to me. The store was crowded. What's a condom? So went into the teacher mode, just like that. I said, a condom is something that a male uses to make sure that he doesn't have babies until he's ready to afford them. He said, really? I said, yes. But how are babies? Then he went into how the babies are made. And I said, that's when two people love each other. Don't you understand? Daddy and I loved each other, and we had you. And then we still love each other so much, we had your brother. Am I going to fall in love? And he went right through the questions. And I answered every last one. And when I got done talking, I was surprised the owl had gotten quiet and listened to me explain sex to my son. And this is what you have to do. So don't be embarrassed. You have to realize that they're asking questions, just like a little one says, Mommy, or they say, Daddy, what is this? They're going to ask you. And if you're nervous and you find it a taboo, they are going to find it a taboo and they're going to get in trouble. And then they're not going to know what to do. And they're afraid to tell you. And then they're afraid you're going to kill them. You know, and some children run away because they're afraid of their parents, because their parents would be ashamed of them. The best advice is you have to let them grow. She's at an age where it's dangerous. Control her growth, treat her like a young lady, but also do not be afraid to talk about sex. They have to know it to protect themselves. You don't have to get gory with it or anything like that. Keep it clean, put it in an educational way, and they will accept it and they'll listen to you and they won't lie to you. But you have to be honest with them. You understand? You can't say, I got a cock. You sit there and say, the men have a penis, they have two testes. Women have, you have to go through all these things. I went through them, believe you me. But when they were really little, and I wore a skirt or a dress that day and we were out and they got afraid, they stuck their heads under the skirt. But that's what children do. They hide behind their mother and they don't want to see, and they pick the skirt up and they go down there. They don't see anything else. That's all they see is they're afraid and they're getting close to mommy because mommy, daddy will take care of it, but I don't want to see what's happening, so I'm going to close and hide my eyes. But this is what goes on with them, even when they're 14. And I'll tell you something, when you get that close with your daughter, when she has a child, she'll want her mother and father there and her husband, but she'll look for daddy. Okay? So I hope that helps you in that aspect, but don't be afraid of it. That doesn't matter. Thanks for the laugh. What are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about. Oh, it's not therapy, but it's what we go through as parents. As old as my sons are, they come up and they ask me questions. My husband, sometimes when things were really hard, he would sit there and say, Dad, I got to talk to you. And he would talk to his father. His father didn't have the answers, but his son needed his father to hear him. Daughters need their parents to hear them. Instead of condemning them, help them. That's what they need. They need help. I don't care if you're 100 years old and your son's 60 or your daughter's 60, they're going to come to you and ask for help. They always do. But that's what I learned. And sometimes I have other people's children asking me questions, and I just go into a teacher mode and start teaching. And I'm honest. You don't have to use big terminologies, but you've got to put it in the language so they understand. You don't have to get graphic and gory about it. You generalize it, and they'll get the message. They're not stupid, though a lot of people think children are. Okay. I had a first cup of coffee today. Oh, I haven't had it in years. Herbal coffee. Oh, yeah. He came out one time and said, "What's a vagina?" That is a female part that separates men from women. You know, you just have to. And then if you're breastfeeding, you go into the store and your baby grabs your breast, they're hungry, they start crying, you've got to feed them. I'm not saying undress the whole top, but I would breastfeed and take their blanket and throw it over my shoulder and them while they nursed. I mean, if you're prim and proper, believe you me, having children, that goes out the door. It flies. It's once you have, that's it. It's over. Your properness goes out. I can't believe some of the things my son's done. One time, my friend was holding one of my sons, and no, it was just one son at that time, and she was heavy chested, and she didn't know I had breastfed him, and I was breastfeeding him. And she said, "Oh, he's so cute. Can I hold him for a while?" And she did, and she was playing with him. All of a sudden, he got hungry, and he bit her on the breast. And she went, "Oh, what did he do?" She wasn't a mother. I said, "I breastfeed. He got hungry. Here, I'll take him and go feed him." So any prim and proper that you have at all of your goes out the door with children. They always do. You never know what's going to come out of their mouths. No, he went to suck on her nipple because he was hungry and he knew that's where the milk was. She was a student in college. She hadn't had a baby. She didn't expect him because most of her family bottle fed their babies. I was early on breastfeeding before the breastfeeding became popular as it is now. So I was like a forerunner on that, coming back to it because I didn't want to use formulas. And so she didn't know that. And he went to go eat because it's a breast. And he was putting it to work. Tony and I made jokes about that for so long. So that was boy, I could tell you some of the things I went through. Just like one time, I had to change diapers, and we were at the museum, and they had a section there of 18th century furniture, and I had 18th century furniture, so I was very well aware of that kind of furniture, and it wasn't roped off. So I proceeded. Our first son was hungry, and I carried snacks for him, and the other one needed his diaper changed. So we went and sat on this 18th century furniture, and I was proceeding to change his diaper, and I got a so I ignored him, continued doing, changed the diaper, did everything, sat down. I said, "Oh God." And then I took my heels off because I was waiting for my husband to come back. And I said, "Oh God, I got to get home. My feet are killing me. I just want to get home." And so I was resting, and he was kept on going. And I'm saying, "What is wrong with this man? He's got an issue." I looked at him, I went, "Go on." And I'm sitting there, with my head back. I said, "Oh God." And Sean is eating. He's eating on a settee. This is old furniture. And Tony came and he saw me there, and he went, "Ah, what are you doing?" I said, he came running to me. "What are you doing?" I said, "I changed the diaper. I took my shoes off. I'm tired. I've been on my feet all day, and Sean was hungry, and Danielle needed a changing." He said, "You're sitting on furniture." I said, "There's nothing barring it." "Yeah, I'm sitting on the furniture." I found out I wasn't supposed to be sitting on that furniture. Oh, so I went through that, and the guard came and he said, "I told you." And I said, "We have this furniture at home. It's the same kind of furniture you have here. It was given to us as a wedding gift from his great aunt. Okay, so I'm aware of this furniture." He said, "But this is only to be looked at." I said, "There's nothing here barring it off." He said, "It's because they went and cleaned it, and they haven't come back to put the bars up that shows you're not supposed to sit on it. Why don't you sit over there?" I said, "Those are wooden benches. Who wants to sit on those?" And that was my introduction. It was just like my husband took me to the park, the botanical gardens, and it was summertime. And I had set the table, but I didn't have any flowers. You know, I put the tablecloth on. I'd been cleaning and all. And he took me to the park, and he went, and I took and brought a bag with me and a pair of scissors. And he said, "What are you going to do with those?" "Oh, nothing, Tony, nothing important." He said, "Okay." So he was in the park doing a painting. And I said, "Can I walk around?" He said, "Sure, you can walk around." I walked around all over that park with a pair of scissors. You know what I did with those scissors? I was cutting flowers. And I had a big Baladucci's bag. And I put all the flowers in there nice. And I said, "These are going to look beautiful on the table." I was cutting leaves, you know, so I had the greenery and the fresh flowers and all. And I sat there and I came back and he's painting. He said, "Oh, what did you do?" I said, "Look, Tony, look what I got." He said, "What did you do?" I said, "I found these lovely flowers and I had cut them so we could put them on the table when we get home." He packed his paint brushes up. He said, "Sandy, what did you do?" I said, "I didn't do anything." He grabbed me in between bushes where the fence was. He made me climb over the fence and he threw the bag of flowers and his art stuff over the fence. And he said, "You stay right there and I'll be right back." He left the park the proper way and came out. And he was really angry with me. I couldn't understand what I had done so wrong. I was just cutting flowers and some leaves so I could have beautiful greenery. And when we got home, he told me after he counted that I had cut over 20 flowers. He said, "Each flower is a $200 fine. I will be in jail, Sandy." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "This is a park." I said, "Yeah, well, you cut flowers in the park." He said, "No, not in New York City. You don't cut the flowers. You can smell the flowers. You don't touch them. Did you climb over a fence, a small little railing?" I said, "Yes, I did." He said, "You're not supposed to go there." Well, nobody found out, but we became friends with the guard. And he was mentioning, he said, "Yeah, last year we noticed there were a lot of flowers missing in the garden, and we couldn't find the person who cut them." And that was me. 13 times 200, that'd be 26. Yeah, my husband would have been paying a lot of money. Yeah, it's a big blessing. That's when she starts to become a young lady. Oh yeah, I had to learn a whole lot of rules. You don't live in the country where you can sleep with the doors open, Sandy. You have to lock the house up. You've got to keep locks on the door. I said, "Why?" "We don't lock them up. I mean, we just close the door." "No, you use locks in New York City. You lock everything up." I left my purse in the bus, and my husband grabbed it. He said, "You never leave your purse alone." I said, "Nobody's going to take it." He said, "Yes, they will." Now, see, in Texas, we could leave the gun on the back rack of the truck or the car, and you could go into the store and you left the windows open. Nobody would touch it when I grew up. This is my time I grew up. Nobody would touch those guns or even think of getting into the car or stealing it. And you could go shopping and you can come back out. You didn't have to lock everything up. I had to learn a whole new way of thinking. I had to learn that I had to lock the doors, keep your purse at your side at all times. Like I used to answer the phone and said, let's say a call came through the afternoon, and this is how I used to answer. I said, "Hello, the Baker's residence. This is Sandy speaking. How can I help you?" This is how we were taught to answer the phone. I did that up here, and my husband almost pulled his hair out. I had to learn to say, "Hello, what do you want?" Real rude. And I said, but Tony, he said, "No, no, this is how you answer the phone. You don't give him any information." I said, "Okay." So I had to learn that. I had a lot of lessons to learn. It was so different from where I grew up in a quiet town, little dinky town, hole in the ground. And that's what I went through. some of the crazy things I went through in life. Okay. So some of my escapades, like I said, growing up and coming to New York City has been really an eye-opening thing. I'm always locking doors now, and it's almost like you're paranoid. Oh, okay. You, I could see that in your country. Yeah. I had trouble here in the city when my sons were 3 and 4. Had a big dressing room for women, and they said, he can't come in here. I said, he's a child. She said, it's a male child. I said, get off of it. It's a male child. He doesn't know any difference from male to female at that point. All he knows is he's a child and he wants to be with his mother. Some women are really bad. I have not. I haven't gone back to Bevo. I haven't. When we left, that was it. I think the first year we were gone, and I go visit my older brother, who was one town away. He would sit there, and he says, "Well, let's go," you know. And when I went there to see people that I knew that they were cold. They weren't friendly. It was like, well, I'm not here every day, so they treated me like an outsider. Of course, I didn't care. I left the town, and in old age, some people that I actually grew up with have actually gotten in touch with me, which surprised me. You now walk into my life 50 years later, right? So, oh no, I do not have, I don't know if you can hear it. My phone is ringing. So listen, I'm going to have to say bye and answer this call. It's going to be going on for the next hour. But anyway, you take care, all right? Take care and have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.